Good morning, class 11. As you all know, we are doing our chapter number 9, in which we are discussing about Constitution as a living document. Although we have finished this chapter in our online class, I would like to share this video with you once again to to reconfirm you about the amendments, the major amendments which have taken place in the Indian Constitution. When we talk about these amendments, first of all, we have to know how many amendments have been taken place till now. As per the recent data, that is as per the 26th of January 2020, 114 amendments have been made in the Indian Constitution. All these amendments have been done just for the requirement as and when they were required. Fine. Along with this, sometimes we also find that as the number of amendments was too high, we found difficulty in amending the Constitution. In your book, there has been a graph given on a page which discussed about that when did the amendments took place. There were three graphs. If you do remember, I have shown you them in online class. Once again, I would like to show you like this. Wait for a second. The graph goes like this. Fine, you might have observed this graph in your books, and we have already discussed this. जब हमने इस ग्राफ स्टडी को किया था, given on page number 206, we have noticed that very few amendments took place in the first 10 years. Actually, these amendments were basically of technical nature. But when we see the maximum amendments taken place from the period 1970 to 1990, a large number of amendments can be seen. Ultimately, precisely when we just explain this more, we further study it more, then we found that from 1974 to 1976, almost you can say 10 amendments took place, 10 major amendments took place within a short span of 3 years. This was a phase when Indian political condition was not going very smoothly. It was going through a rough patch. When again we talk about the year 2001 to 2003, again we saw just in a period of 3 years, again 10 amendments took place. Obviously, how can we analyze themselves is regarding our political system. From the very beginning, we have observed the Congress being ruling over India. The first 15 years were the phases of Congress domination, the era of Congress dominance. Congress party has a vast majority in the parliament. It was a winning political party in the first 3 general elections. Whereas in 1970s, when the opposition started criticizing the basic policies of the Congress, there was a phase when Congress lost its majority. Again, in the period of 2000 and so on, this period is marked with the coalition politics. It was a period when the different political parties were in power in different states. There was a very bitter rivalry between the BJP and its opponents. Ultimately, every amendment that came into being was not just dependent upon the nature of the majority of the ruling party alone. Sometimes it was also depending on the whims of the opposition or on the demands of the coalition partners. From here the question comes, why do we criticize a lots of amendments? Obviously, there has been a very great criticism on the number of amendments we have done so far. It has been said that Indian Constitution was not so flexible as per as the amendments we have faced. We have made 104 amendments in the 17 years, which is quite odd. This is not normal. This is not only done on the basis of political considerations. If we just leave the first 10 years or the first decade of our independence, we have basically can observe a steady increase in the amendments. This means irrespective whatever was the nature of politics in our country, whosoever political party was in power at that time, amendments were basically made from time to time. Ultimately, this has made that our original constitution is inadequate. Is it very much important for us to make our constitution too flexible so that we can encourage so much amendments? Anyway, we will be discussing this topic in our next segment. Thank you, class.